Shri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Danam Damascha Yajñascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodhas Tyaga Shantir Apaishunam Daya Bhuteshvaloluptvam Mardavam Hriya Chapalam Teja Kshamadhriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. The Blessed Lord said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity and simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion and freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty and steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy, and the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Material world has been addressed as Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam, Anityam Asukham Lokam, that this world is full of miseries. That is why so much struggle is happening. Struggle is happening between the countries to defend their territories. Struggle is happening within the country, either to oust the government from which the people are dissatisfied, or either to leave the jobs which are bringing them dissatisfaction, or to score very nicely in a system which is very competitive. There is constant struggle in everybody's life. Science is also struggling very hard to counteract the onslaughts of material nature. In this way, everybody is struggling here. So this is not the right way to become happy. It is just like you are in a jungle and your path is strewn with many thorns and pebbles. In order to have a smooth walk, you are trying to remove all the bushes, thorns and pebbles from your path. That is not a sane way to have a smooth walk. The solution is wear shoes. As simple as that. In a similar fashion, this analogy is given actually in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that one should wear shoes. In a similar fashion, why we are trying to remove all the thorns and all the pebbles? There are unlimited thorns and pebbles in this material world. It is called Dukhalayam. And there is no means, even if you throw all the thorns and pebbles out of the way, hypothetically, although it is not possible, still more thorns will be given by the material nature. More pebbles will come up, because Krishna tells material nature is not automatic, it is controlled by me. Even though it appears to be automatic, this automation is set into place by Krishna. It is under Krishna's control always. That is why Krishna tells, Mama Maya Duratyaya. You cannot overcome, counteract this material energy, because it is controlled by me. Maya Adhyakshena Prakritihi. It is acting under my supervision. So thus Krishna tells Duratya, it is very difficult to overcome. But in only one case, one circumstance, it can be overcome, and that is Mam evye prapadyante. If you take shelter of mine, you surrender unto me, then you can cross beyond all the troubles of this material world. So the solution is not to invent light so that you can counteract darkness, and then that light is creating so many other problems. Then there is light pollution, there is so much disturbance in the biological activity within our bodies. In order to counteract the misery of having a slow ride on animals or other natural means, you have invented automobiles, but then automobiles are creating other problems. So much of non-degradable waste, so much of global warming, and unlimited problems are coming up. So if we analyze, we are not solving the problem, we are shifting the load from head to shoulder, shoulder to waist. If you don't study, then there is problem, there would be criticism, there won't be resources to maintain yourself. But then if you study, that is another struggle we do not want to do, but we are forced to do it. Then if you have automobiles to solve the problem of slow transport, it creates dozen other problems. Waste which cannot be decomposed. The waste is creating global warming. And then so many other troubles. There is traffic, and then there is pollution. And because of pollution, so many diseases. So one solution you make and dozen more problems are created. So in this manner, if we analyze, the problems are increasing. And by this hard work to make this earth a nice place to live, the life on earth sustained for so many thousands of years. But now they are telling we have brought ourselves to the point of no return because of this industrialization. So as Stephen Hawking told, that we have 100 years on this planet. So by this contribution of wonderful intelligence to make this world a better place to live, we have rendered it uninhabitable. 100 years is the deadline now. You move to other planet. And we are hoping against hope, this earth which was full of resources, even now it is full of resources, we are telling we cannot save it, but we have a hope that on a planet on which resources are not there, we will make it habitable. So all these things will happen if we try to solve the problems of life without taking shelter of the Vedas, which tell us what are the laws of nature, which are the right things to do, which are the wrong things to avoid. Problems will simply keep on increasing, compounding in our life. So that is why we should not try to solve the problems of life by taking out pebbles and thorns one at a time. Rather, wear the shoes. And this is called liberation. All these problems are because of the nature around us. Nature forces us to become old. I don't want an old body. Nature forces us to die. Nature forces us with so many problems. That is why the Vedas tell Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You follow the rules and regulations of the Vedas, then there would be economic development. And after economic development, you can try to satisfy your desires only to realize that it doesn't bring you any lasting satisfaction, the fulfillment of all the desires. Then we realize, oh yes, actually the greatest happiness lies in liberation. From there the spiritual life begins. And when a person is very much advanced on the liberated platform, one can understand what is God and experience the spiritual bliss in life. So the purpose is to become liberated. This is very important. Nothing in the world should affect me. Whatever disturbances are being created by the nature or by the other living entities or being created by my mind and body. There is no other disturbance, only three disturbances: Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik and Adhidevik. I should not be affected by anything at all. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena guru napi vichalir. The greatest calamity also should not shake me. This is called the stage of freedom, liberation. This was sought after by all the sages of the Varnashrama culture, which is known as Hindu culture today. So every intelligent person should aspire to understand what is that technology, what is that way of life by which I can come to a platform where I can become free from the laws of nature. Human life is meant to attain this end, complete freedom from the clutches of the laws of nature. Now, who is given freedom here? Freedom is given to gentlemen, those who possess good qualities, divine qualities, and whose freedom is curtailed of that of demoniac people. They are put into jail. The more crimes they commit, the more freedom is restricted. Initially, there would be imprisonment of few years. And then, if they create further offenses, then their hands and legs are shackled. Further offenses, they are put in a dark cell. They will not be able to see sunlight also. It will be moist, dark. It is moist, dark, and it is very, very horrible over there. For many, many days and weeks, a person will not be able to see the light of sun. So the more we degrade ourselves to the base qualities, our freedom is curtailed. And if we behave nicely, better freedom and resources are given by the government. So thus we understand there are laws of nature operating here. We follow the principles of hygiene, we remain fit, healthy. We don't follow, we fall sick. So in a similar fashion, Lord Krishna here gives us all these wonderful qualities which guide us to the path of liberation. So we have to cultivate all these qualities. So let us understand a little bit about these so that we can practice to develop these in our personality. The first quality is fearlessness. So in this Varnashrama Dharma, the scientific division of society in 4 spiritual and 4 social orders is ultimately meant to take a person to the platform of liberation. Then if one is fortunate on liberated platform, one can meet a pure devotee of Lord and then understand the truth of the existence of God. But minimum at least one should reach the platform of liberation. So among these orders, sannyas or the order of renunciation is the topmost. A sannyasi renunciant is the spiritual master of all the other divisions. And the first quality, so these qualities should be cultivated by everybody. All the devotees should have these qualities, but still people in specific situation in the Varna and the Ashrama are supposed to put stress on some of these qualities. Like the first 3 qualities are supposed to be followed very strictly by the sannyasis. Others may also aspire to develop, but a sannyasi must have these qualities. And the first quality in renunciation, if we want to become sannyasi, is abhayam, fearlessness. Because a person has to give up all the connections of family. As long as we are attached here, we will keep on taking birth here, life after life. If we want eternal life, we need to have detachment. If we practice detachment, there is always fear. I have to leave my family. Now my family was taking care of me. I have got old now. In old age, I need all the more support. But no. A sannyasi is supposed to have such a level of realization that one understands the Supreme Soul is sitting in my heart, in everyone's heart. And he will take care of me even in the very horrible, dangerous jungles filled with ferocious tiger snakes and many other insects. I will be unharmed if the Super Soul protects me. And if the Super Soul wants me to leave the body, then I should agree because he is the Supreme Controller. My pleasure lies in obeying his orders. In this way, sannyasi is always fearless. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tuhari, you want to kill or save God as you want to do with this body, which actually belongs to you, you can do it. As long as it continues, I will try to serve you with this body. In this way, when a person has realization of God, who is present in every atom, heart of all the species, one remains fearless. Thus, it was a natural course. After 50 years of age, everyone would take shelter of jungle, that is called Vanaprastha. They go to jungle to practice austerities. So this is called fearlessness. Now it is very, very difficult to conceive in old age how somebody can live independently in a far-off place, isolated and dangerous place. But no. In the womb, when I could not cry for help, I was protected, I was given all the supplies. When I came out, I could not know what is good for me. But the right kind of food stuff, child cannot take anything other than milk. Milk was provided immediately in the breasts of the mother. So this arrangement has been there in the womb, out of the womb. It is there always. So a sannyasi is supposed to be fearless. Then, purification of one's existence. Impurity means lust and greed, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Tendency to enjoy independent of God, this is impurity. Enjoyment, tendency to enjoy is not bad, but this enjoyment comes when we only plan enjoyment for God. A thief's heart is considered impure because he thinks I should enjoy others' property. So human life is only meant for purification, as Lord Rishabdev told, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyed yasmad brahma saukhyam tvanantam. Rishabdev is king of the planet, and he's telling, he was also taking renunciation, sannyas. Before taking sannyas, he is guiding his children, 100 sons. What is the right conduct of life? And he's telling, do tapasya. That is also one of the items that will be mentioned here. Voluntarily accept discomforts in life because that leads to the purification. Now people have forgotten what I am supposed to do, what is the right thing, right culture, right quality, which will give me liberation. So self-purification, it happens by tapasya, voluntarily accepting discomforts. It happens by control of the senses. It happens by giving charity. It happens by control of mind. It happens by reading the scriptures. So every activity leads either to purification of consciousness or degradation of consciousness. Either it increases my tendency to enjoy independent of God, or it increases my tendency to serve God and minimize my independent enjoyment. That is called purification. So self-purification, this is supposed to be practiced by everyone, especially by a sannyasi. Then cultivation of spiritual knowledge. So sannyasi is supposed to be very, very humble. That is why they go begging door to door. We also approach people for donations. But it should not be misunderstood that sannyasi is beggar. Especially in India, many times we find beggars who have taken this as a very nice means to earn livelihood. Sometimes you'll find them in the places where people assemble. Sometimes you'll find them in the trains or bus stops or many other places where people assemble. And they will be wearing saffron and they'll be begging, because in India there is a culture, you are supposed to give maintenance money to the sannyasi. So some beggars thought it is very nice, I don't have to do any work, simply wear this dress and sometimes you may sing the names of God and people will give you money. But no. Sannyasi does not approach house to house because he is dependent on the householders for their maintenance. They are abhayam. They know I will be maintained in every situation. But why they approach? Because humility has to be practiced. Going and begging somebody a morsel for your subsistence, it is not very easy begging. People don't want to beg. But sannyasi is supposed to have this humility, cultivate this humility and beg. And why? Because when the householders who are very busy in sense enjoyment, in maintaining their family, they automatically advance by giving charity to the sannyasis. So who do not have time for direct spiritual cultivation, they spend time in earning money, and that money is given to sannyasis. That is as good as spending time for Krishna. So by giving this money, charity or food to the sannyasis, they advance in spiritual life. So for their spiritual advancement, it is duty of sannyasi to go house to house and do madhukari. Madhukari means, it does not mean sannyasi should go and tell one family, now you feed me with nice dishes, everything. He goes house to house and little he takes from everyone, so that no family is overburdened and everyone gets chance of spiritual elevation. And apart from giving in charity, the food or money, donations, they also inquire from them about spiritual subject matter. And the sannyasi, when he goes, he is offered respect. He gives, householder gives charity. Householder becomes capable. By rendering service, we become qualified to get spiritual knowledge. Without service, even if one hears spiritual knowledge, it will take very long time to manifest into realization. So he becomes qualified, and then they discuss spiritual subject matter. In this way, householders who otherwise have no time to dedicate to spiritual life directly, they can advance in this way. So a sannyasi is supposed to maintain this thing, cultivation of knowledge. It is very, very important. So he should go and spread knowledge to everybody. And sometimes if a sannyasi has prematurely taken this renounced order, then he should spend all the time in hearing, dedicate himself to hear the scriptures and cultivate knowledge. It is very, very important. It is a prime duty of sannyasi. The duty of householder, as we will see, is to give charity, because they are engaged in cultivation of money. The duty of sannyasi is cultivation of knowledge, because They only have time and maturity, the austerity, and all these principles by which knowledge can manifest. So those who have knowledge should spread knowledge, those who have money should give money. So these three things are supposed to be followed, especially by the sannyasis. And the next, charity, danam, self-control, damaha, performance of sacrifice, yajna. These are supposed specially to be followed by householders. The householder is glorified by the charity because other three orders, social divisions, brahmachari, vanprasth and sannyasi, do not earn anything. So just see how nice is this varnashrama dharma. It is specifically dedicated to attain liberation. So only in household life for 25 years, you can satisfy your senses so that you realize actually that is not bringing satisfaction to my heart. First 25 years, strict education in the Gurukul. Next 25 years, household life. You can enjoy worldly enjoyment, but that also through serving Krishna. And then after 50 years, then you wind up the activities, go with wife, because attachment with wife is very strong. You go with wife to jungle, practice austerities, but no sex life after 50 years. And then after that, as soon as you are purified, you can live independently, take sannyas. Women cannot be given sannyas because they always need protection. There are always so many dangers for them. So they always, if the husband is there together, they can live in jungle. But when husband wants to take sannyas, woman should be given protection by her sons. So in this way, everyone is very conscious what is my ultimate duty. So householder is glorified by the charity. So now this misconception is there, whatever money I have, it belongs to me. This is wrong. Just like the cashier is having a lot of money, but that money belongs to bank. Out of that, little will be given to the cashier, whatever is due as per his salary. In a similar fashion, this body mind doesn't belong to me. What money I have earned, that is, I don't become the rightful owner of all of it. I can enjoy up to 50% of it, but not more than that. 50% should be used in Krishna consciousness. Charity is also in three modes: Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. The charity done in Rajoguna and Tamoguna is not recommended in the Vedas. That we will see what it is. And charity done in Sattva Guna for spreading Krishna consciousness, this most important knowledge which gives people liberation. If you do some temporary seva, which anyway is going to come to the people as per the arrangement of laws of nature, that is but temporary. There are endless miseries. The real seva is bringing people to the platform of liberation, Krishna consciousness. Thus, charity should be done to Krishna conscious people who are spreading Krishna consciousness. So, 50% of the wealth should be spent in such charity. It does not belong to us. If you want to accumulate more than 50%, it will only bring miseries in our life. And 50% is also maximum actually. One should be satisfied simply by keeping body and soul together. But it may not be practical, so all the scriptures give very practical instructions. But remain satisfied with 50% of your income, that's it. So this is the most important duty of householder, charity. After charity, self-control, damaha. Everyone is supposed to follow sense control, but specifically the householders, because there is a lot of opportunity for sense enjoyment. Brahmachari who is living in jungle, he has no earning. Vanprastha has no earning. Sannyasi has no earning, no resources in jungle, what you can enjoy. So anyway, enjoyment is restricted, but householder, he has all the opportunities for self-enjoyment. So if self-control is not there, then he will be lost. So thus damaha, sense control, self-control is very much required. Next, yajna, performance of sacrifice. This is also specially recommended for householders. What is sacrifice? We have discussed if you have been hearing these sessions. Krishna has mentioned in 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, 5th chapter, a lot about sacrifice. Describe different kinds of sacrifices. And all the work, it is explained, should be done only for sacrifice for Lord Krishna. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. we'll get entangled in karma bandhan, means laws of nature. If we work just for sacrificing the results of activities, then we'll get freedom from the laws of nature. Yagya arthat karmanaha. Activity should be done for the artha, for the purpose of yagya, for sacrifice. And fire sacrifice, Agnihotra, is traditionally recommended in the Vedic literatures. And because only the householders have money, this yagya requires a lot of money and resources. Tons and tons of grains and ghee is required and other resources. And who can afford it in today's age? It is very expensive. And apart from being very expensive, we need qualified brahmanas who can ignite the fire simply by the mantras. Where are such qualified brahmanas available? So because of lack of such arrangements, intelligent people, it is told in Srimad Bhagavatam, will take to a special kind of yagyas. There are so many yagyas, but as Krishna is told in the 10th chapter, Yagya Nam Jap Yagyo Asmi. Of all the yagyas, I am Jap Yagya, chanting of the holy names of Lord. And it is told in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, Yagyay Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasaha. The most intelligent people will engage themselves in Sankirtan Yagya, together chanting and hearing the names of God. Sumedas, a very intelligent person only, will be able to understand this kind of Yagya performance. So this is very simple. Anyway, we don't have much resources and no resources are required. Just sit with the family members, friends, as many people gather, the better it is, and sing and hear attentively the names of God. And thus yagyas are performed. We'll be free from karma bandhana, stringent laws of nature, and all the natural supplies of the materials will be kept intact. There will be no scarcity of food, there will be no scarcity of water, and everything will be maintained very nicely. So yagya, sacrifice, is very important for purification of existence, for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu, for becoming free from the laws of nature, and for maintaining the supply of natural ingredients. Without sacrifice, one cannot have supply of natural ingredients. Thus, despite so much of advancement, we see drought, famine, there is scarcity of food grains, scarcity of water. All these things are depleting. Yagya is required. Next is study of Vedas, Swadhyaya, austerity, tapaha, and simplicity, arjavam. These things are specifically to be practiced by the brahmacharis. So brahmacharis are supposed to do swadhyaya. Student means simply one should study, as now also students keep on studying, but this education is not this mundane education. Reconfiguring the matter. Shilpa Napunam, that is called. This is called an art. This education technology, what we are studying actually. We think that this is the summit of the activity of the gray cells in our head. But this technology, if we analyze what it is simply reconfiguring the matter, putting this atom from this place to another place, this electron from this orbit to another orbit, diode transistor putting from here to there, putting one chemical layer here. It is simply reconfiguring the matter. Shilpa Napunam, just like it is an art to put paint, put one paint here, configuration of paint, that is called art. So this technology is also considered but an art in terms of the Vedic knowledge. The knowledge, as we have seen in previous chapters, is to understand what is spirit, what is matter, and who is controller of both. So this kind of knowledge was cultivated in Gurukul. So Swadhyaya is required to cultivate this knowledge of spirit and matter and the controller of both. Next is austerity, tapaha. Voluntarily accepting discomforts in life is very, very important. So these discomforts in life, austerities, they cleanse the soul of hallucinations and illusion. And then the knowledge of the soul being different from the body automatically awakens. That is why Lord Krishna tells, who is qualified to understand this Bhagavad Gita? Krishna tells, do not speak this knowledge to the people who are not austere or who are not devoted. Either a person should be austere he should be taking voluntary discomforts in one's life, or one should be devoted to Supreme Lord. Then only a person can understand. So everybody likes enjoyment. If a child, day in and day out, child is playing sports or some computer games, he will never realize the importance of education. He will get lost, spoil his career. In a similar fashion, if we don't practice restraint, we will be indulged in sense enjoyment. We will never understand I am eternal soul. Ultimately, I am creating so many problems of repeated birth, death, old age and disease because of my ignorance, because of this sense enjoyment. So to understand oneself as spirit soul different from body, understand I am eternal, it is not easy. One has to do tapasya, then automatically one will understand all the subject matters which could be difficult otherwise to know. So to come to platform of knowledge, tapaha, brahmachari is engaged in education, so it should be coupled with tapasya. Then next is simplicity. Simplicity means arjavam. So not just brahmachari, but everyone should be very simple. Now we want to accumulate resources, show off to others. No, this is not proper conduct. I should not try to attract the attention of people. If a person is attracted towards me, how will it benefit him or her? But if a person is attracted towards God, that is the beginning of life of unlimited bliss and knowledge. So one should have very, very simple existence, simplicity. Next comes non-violence, ahimsa. How much ever weapons we can have, missile shields we can invent, very nice bulletproof jackets we can invent, helmets we can invent, very nice cars we can invent where there are all the mechanisms for safety. We have very nice system of traffic control. We have very nice advancement in the science of medicine. We will not be able to avoid distress, as we can see how it is happening. We have conquered 5 diseases and 50 more diseases have sprung up. Newer diseases are coming every day. How much ever United Nations we can have, it has been an utter failure to prevent wars. So how much ever we can plan, if we are giving harm to other living entities, nature will plan to inflict harm to us. So it is very simple to understand there are laws operating in this nature. Now people are very much fond of eating meat. But so much pain is being inflicted to other living entity. Meat is called mansa in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is the language of enlightenment, the most reformed people. So mansa, every word has got a meaning. Mansa means mamsa khadati iti mansa. As I am killing you, eating you, you have the right to kill me in next life. So much pain is inflicted to the living entities in the slaughterhouse. We will have to undergo the same pain. We may blame, oh, these people are having bad mentality, how cruel, these terrorists, they cut the people, chop the people into 2 portions. And how bad are these people, fanatics, in the name of religion, they are creating so many troubles. How bad is this national leader, he created concentration camps. We may blame all these people. How bad is the government, they cannot protect the citizens. We can blame all of them, but we have to understand we are enjoying and suffering our own karma. Instruments could differ, but we get lost in correcting the instruments and forget the suffering to me is happening because I have given the suffering to other living entities. Any pain that is being afflicted to us, somebody is using very harsh words upon us, we have used similar words upon somebody and inflicted similar punishment to them. So rather than showing anger upon the instrument of immediate suffering, person realizes, oh, how bad I was, I inflicted similar pain to others. May not be in this life, in previous many lives. So if we read the Vedas, so there are so many stories, and they are not stories actually. People call them stories, they are histories. So many such incidents are there where people were able to recollect, oh, I have been given this punishment because in my previous life, and not just human beings. If there was a saint who, when he was child, he was piercing an insect with a thorn. And when he got a human form of life, he was erected on an iron nail, very big nail they would have, like a lancet. It will go through the rectum and come out of the head. Such great pain. This was one way of punishment where thieves would be punished by the king. And then when he inquired why he was given this punishment, then Yamaraj told him that you don't remember when you were small, you pierce an insect with the thorn. So nature does not tell that no, only small living entities you are killing, you will be spared, no. The same living entity is there in the small body. If somebody is riding a bicycle does not mean a truck driver who is having a big vehicle is entitled to kill. No, killing is killing, same punishment. So the bodies of insects may be small, but you kill an insect, you kill a hen, you kill a rat, goat, dog, camel, punishment is same. We will also be killed. But yes, if we kill conscious, very who are advanced in consciousness, Brahmana, spiritualists, if we kill them, there would be much more punishment. But minimum we will be killed for any killing that we have done. This people do not know. So if we increase this meat eating tendency, if we increase the slaughterhouses, more war, pestilence, epidemics, COVID, all these things will happen and people will be slaughtered by the nature. So we have to understand, God has made this perfect mechanism. You inflict harm, you get harm. You give help to others, you will get help. You give wealth to others, you will become wealthy. You give education to others, you become very learned man. This is the law of nature. This is called the law of karma. So I request, please try to spread this knowledge. Be non-violent. Don't give harm to other living entities. And understand these laws of nature and transcend the laws of nature by developing all these qualities. Next is truthfulness, Satyam. Falsity is violating the laws of nature. But unless one is Brahmana, one understands my happiness and distress is anyway supposed to come. Why should I indulge myself in falsehood? So only such people can practice this truthfulness. Even if enemy comes and asks, they will still speak the truth. Because a Brahmana is fearless. He understands happiness and distress is predestined. I should do my duty in this life so that future distress can be avoided. I can become liberated. So as far as possible, one should be truthful. And truthful, more importantly, means apart from the morally being truthful or being false, truthfulness means understanding absolute truth, Krishna, from the scriptures and spreading this knowledge to others of absolute truth. Next is freedom from anger. So this anger is very dangerous. As we become angry, our entire body becomes contaminated. Contaminated with the chemicals which are very dangerous for our health. Now the science has also found out. Ayurveda always told, have a very tranquil and peaceful mind, and then there would be no diseases. So 90% of diseases, they happen because of mind. When the mind is disturbed, agitated, angry, lusty, it gives rise to so many unwanted hormone chemical secretion in the body, and then there is so much disease because of that. Psychosomatic diseases, disorders, medical science also has understood now. We have ulcers in the mouth when there is so much stress. We have diabetes when there is so much of stress. And actually, Ayurveda tells 90% of the diseases are because of this mind. Everything is being governed from here, from mind, and mind is being governed from spirit. So if you follow spiritual life, automatically everything is taken care. But yes, as a matter of duty, this anger should be avoided as far as possible. Anger should be done. We cannot stop anger altogether. So that is why it is told in the Vedas, anger can be used upon those people who are envious of God. So some people naturally they want to accuse God. They are outlaws by nature, by natural instinct. They become angry as soon as they hear the name of God, want to oppose the activities of God consciousness. Then yes, if we become angry with such people, just like Lord Hanuman became angry, that is nice. That increases our relationship with God. So in such ways, avenues, we can use our anger. That helps in advancement of spiritual life. But otherwise, for my personal interest, I should not be angry at all. Next quality is renunciation. We discussed it is very important to have detachment in this world. Tranquility. a person should always maintain tranquility. Attraction to anything and hatred towards anything, both are actually entangling. Both capture our mind. If our mind is absorbed in the subject matter of material world, then we have to take birth again. If we hate a person, we are thinking of the person. If we love a person, we are again thinking of a person. And if the object of love and hatred is any material living entity, we are bound to come back here. So one should remain tranquil, neutral, neither hatred nor any attraction for anything or any person, entity of this material world. Tranquility. Next is aversion to fault finding, apashunam. Now people want to find faults. The media, the social media is abundant with fault finding and criticism. Of course, calling a thief is not considered fault finding, but unnecessarily criticizing when it does not bring any change, either in my life or other person's life, one should restrain from fault finding. Compassion and freedom from covetousness. So one should have compassion for other living entities, and of course, compassion for the body is sign of ignorance. Compassion should be there for the spirit soul. So one should not think, oh, this life is so bad if I renounce the sense objects. No, even though it could be troublesome for the body, but it is very good for the spirit soul. Surgery is very painful for the body, but it saves a person. So compassion should be for the spirit soul. When Krishna killed so many people on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna killed means under Krishna's direction, Arjuna killed, Pandavas killed. So it appears to be an act of violence, but that is not act of violence. That is compassion for the spirit soul. So those who are killed by the pure devotees like Arjuna, or in the presence of Krishna who left their bodies, they immediately attain liberation, which a person attains by doing lot of tapasya, cultivation of knowledge for many, many lives. So even though the bodies got destroyed, when Arjuna was shooting arrows on their bodies, this pain was purifying them. And when they left their bodies, they got liberation. So now there is no more birth and death. So these are the very fine things which we have to understand. What is real compassion? So real compassion is elevating people to the platform of liberation or Krishna consciousness. So in this way, one should have compassion by spreading this knowledge to others. This is the greatest act of compassion. Freedom from covetousness. Gentleness. One should be very gentle. Modesty. One should not do anything abominable. And steady determination. There would be fall downs because these qualities, rules and regulations may not be easy to follow. So one should not lose hope and patience by such failures. Such failures are there in every field. Everybody fails. But one should be determined, keep on practicing, and then eventually there would be success. Vigor. Now this is to be followed by Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas should have vigor. They should have strength, capacity to defend the subjects from the onslaughts of enemy. Forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, shocham. Cleanliness is specially to be followed by the mercantile community. We have discussed before how shocham is supposed to be practiced internally, externally. Externally, one should take bath minimum twice a day, recommended thrice a day. And then internally, one has to always evacuate very properly and chant Hare Krishna mantra very nicely. And apart from this, cleanliness should be practiced in one's dealings also. Especially the mercantile class, they can indulge in so many wrong practices, indulging in black marketing, hoarding, and so many other illicit trade activities. So one should be very, very clean, not just in one's body and mind, but in one's dealings also. This is called shocham. Next is freedom from envy and the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So all these qualities we should cultivate. If we cultivate these qualities, then nature gives us more and more greater freedom. And eventually we are liberated. When we are liberated, then we can understand what is Krishna, what is God. and then there is awakening of spiritual bliss in our life. And also important word which is used in the last line here is Bhavanti sampadam daivim abhijatasya bharata. Abhijatasya means one who is taking birth in such family. I'll repeat. So abhijatasya means one who takes birth with such qualities. Takes birth with qualities. Qualities are supposed to be cultivated when a person comes outside. No, within the womb and even before conception. This is a science which people do not know. In Varnashrama system, this system is called Garbhadhan Sanskar. In order to cultivate the spirit soul with all these good qualities, to have a birth with all these good qualities, purification of consciousness is recommended for the parents. Now, of course, those rituals cannot be performed, so we do that Garbhadhan Sanskar by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, minimum 16 rounds, and on the day of conceiving the child, minimum 50 rounds, 50 should be chanted. And the parent should only take Krishna Prasadam, the food which is offered to Lord Krishna. That is pure food. It purifies our existence, and charity should be given to the devotees. Scripture should be read. In this way, parents can purify their consciousness. And with such pure consciousness, the soul will be naturally born with all these godly qualities. So these people do not know. Now the child is the result of sex life. Earlier, child was the prime motto and sex enjoyment was byproduct. Putrayate kriyate bharya putra pinda prayojanam. Having child was the purpose of marriage. Because people were understanding ultimately I need to have liberation. If I get stuck, because laws of nature are very stringent, if I get stuck somewhere in lower species, ghostly species, then if my child performs these rituals Pindadan very nicely, I'll be liberated from those life forms. So everything was there with an ambition, with a clear idea that I should ultimately reach the platform of liberation. And obviously enjoyment is a byproduct of it. But now sex enjoyment is the main activity and child is a byproduct. Then we should not be disturbed if so many Varna Sankaras are coming. Varna Sankara means unwanted population. Child was not required. Required was sexual enjoyment. Child came into picture. Without purification of consciousness, such children born will be naturally inclined to demoniac qualities. We will see all those qualities now. And they will be very, very lusty and greedy and will create havoc in society. So Arjuna told, women are not protected. These religious codes are not followed. Varna Sankara, unwanted population, will overburden this earth. So we should protect them and we should resist from this war. So this is a great science, purification of consciousness. Then abhijataha, one takes birth with such qualities.